One decision, one date, and everything changed forever. This could happen to anyone, even to you. Each year, around 5,000 people go missing worldwide. Some are victims of violence or crime, some return, and others vanish without a trace, forever remaining on missing persons lists. This is my story. It happened last fall, and I can't forget it. Whenever I get distracted from work, start daydreaming, or just lie down to sleep, the same thing starts in my head. I often wake up in a cold sweat at night, crying quietly, and in the morning, I pretend everything is fine and continue to appear in public. But I can't live like this anymore, meaning keeping it all inside. I want to talk about it, release the negative energy, and try to forget everything. Forget it like a nightmare. Maybe it will help. At least, I really hope so. It all started the day my friend talked me into signing up for a dating site. Apparently, she was tired of my loneliness and constant whining about not being able to find love, which is understandable. Where am I supposed to find it with a 5-half schedule when on my only days off, Saturday and Sunday, I just want to sit at home with my laptop and watch documentaries about maniacs for hours because soon I'll have to go back to work again. So, week after week, month after month, and year after year. Anyway, I agreed to this idea because being alone was already tiresome, and finding a loved one, well, who wouldn't want that? And so I had a new page on the internet where thousands of men from my city could see what I looked like, how old I was, what hobbies I was interested in. And so I wouldn't say I exactly liked it, but soon I had a lot of new admirers. I sometimes didn't even have time to read them all. I was getting a lot of likes and messages like, "How are you? Want to hang out?" and all that. But most guys weren't looking for anything serious. And for me, a 28-year-old woman, that was important. So I turned down a lot of men right away and wasn't in a hurry to go on dates. That went on until he appeared on my radar. A brown-eyed brunette, about 5'11", athletic build, with nice thick eyebrows and light stubble. He was a bit younger, but I didn't mind because he was pleasant to talk to, polite, and had good manners. Basically, everything the other guys lacked to make me say, yes, I'm willing to go on a date with him. Plus, my friend's jaw dropped when she saw his pictures. That added 100 points to his attractiveness. I had to strike while the iron was hot, so I decided to message him first. "Hi, you're pretty cute. I see you work out. That's commendable." "Hi, my beauty doesn't compare to yours, but thanks for the compliment anyway. Yeah, I like sports. Physical activity helps me relax and feel confident." "Cool. I used to love running in the evenings, but I haven't had time lately. Too much work. I don't know why you need that information, but there you go." "No way. I like getting to know people. Everyone has a unique lifestyle and way of thinking, their own principles, interests, and desires. So feel free to tell me about yourself. I won't be offended." "Yeah, hold on a minute, okay? I'm swamped at work." It was Friday evening, the end of the work week, and in another 20 or 30 minutes I had to go home. So I decided to relax a little and check my phone, and then this handsome guy showed up, and it just kind of took off from there. Of course, my boss saw what I was doing and immediately gave me a bunch of extra tasks, but that didn't stop me from continuing the conversation. "He's driving me crazy. I have to go home in 20 minutes and he's still not done working. Remind me, where were we?" "Packages." Well, that's kind of primitive, don't you think? There are plenty of other interesting ideas. What can you do with such an attractive single girl like you? "Oh, really? Well, share, I'm all ears. Maybe not, I'll tell you everything when we meet. Don't get me wrong, I just want more face-to-face interaction because only..." "Okay, fine. You convinced me, but only on one condition. If it's not you in the photos, I'm leaving immediately. You won't lure me with shrimp." "Well, that's perfectly acceptable. I agree. Are you free after work today?" "Yes, I'm free until 5 p.m. and I can be in the center around 8 p.m. I know the place you're talking about, something like Black Oyster. My friend keeps trying to drag me there." "Yes, that's it. Then it's a deal. Do you need me to call you a taxi?" "No, I'm driving. Let's meet at the entrance at 8 p.m. Just don't be late, okay? I hate having to wait for someone. Don't worry, I like punctual people, too. See you then." I dedicated the remaining hours before our long-awaited date to my appearance. You don't look great after work anyway, yet, and after a whole week, I couldn't let myself look bad, especially in front of Kim. a charming man. So I started getting ready. I finished just about 40 minutes before I had to leave, and now I'm all beautiful and made up, driving to meet my destiny, a little nervous and thinking about how not to mess things up. I arrived at that restaurant in the city center even earlier than we agreed. I didn't get out of the car. I thought that the guy might not look like his photos. You get the idea. And I thought I was prepared for anything, for any outcome. But when this someone didn't show up at 8 p.m. or 8:10 p.m. or even 8:30 p.m., I started to get really angry. At first, of course, I hoped that he had just taken a table and was waiting for me inside, but the staff at the entrance refuted this version. They said that they had not seen such a guy and no one had booked a table in his name. Of course. I wasted so much time and effort to get all beautiful and dressed up from the suburbs to the center, and after a working day, just to what? To stand there like an idiot and go back home? Of course, I started texting this Don Juan, asking where he was stuck and why he couldn't warn me that the meeting was canceled. But there was no response to all my messages. He was just ignoring me, like a little boy who was angry with his parents. Returning home with the ice cream, I felt utterly crushed, like I'd been run over. My mood was at rock bottom. I'd been dumped so brazenly for the first time, and I wanted nothing. All the way, I kept checking my phone for messages, but saw the same empty screen. Then I decided to just forget it. He's a jerk and life will punish him. I live in my own house on the edge of town, considered the suburbs here. No noisy neighbors, constant drilling, or parties, just peace and quiet. I got back right at 9 p.m. when it was already dark. After parking, I headed straight to the kitchen for the wine I'd saved for Friday night. But as soon as I opened the bottle and poured a glass, a notification popped up on my phone from that dating site. Guess who? I sincerely apologize. I know you won't forgive me, but you looked so stunning that I didn't have the courage to approach. What? You were there the whole time and just watched me? Yes, by the way, the hairstyle is fire. It really suits you. He attached a photo of me standing with a disgruntled face near the restaurant, scrutinizing every passerby. The photo was clear, but taken from afar, secretly. Of course. As soon as I saw all this trash, he was immediately blocked. I didn't even bother telling him what I thought of him, although I wanted to, but my nerves were more important. Besides, I had a great evening planned in my cozy house with wine, good food, and YouTube and Mirza VC. Could go to hell. I wanted this day to end as I described, but it turned out the opposite. About 20 minutes after blocking that guy, I suddenly received a message on Telegram from an unknown number. Hey, why aren't you answering? I'm worried. What if you didn't make it home? At first, I thought it was a friend writing from another account. I even had a guess who. Hey, Raf, is that you? Do you have a different number now? No, it's not Raf. It's your rejected admirer you blocked. Yes, forgotten already? You're kidding. How did you find my Telegram? I didn't give you my number. What are you surprised about? From just a photo, you can find not only someone's social media, but other useful information. Last name, first name, patronymic, date of birth, address, phone number, and if you really want to, even medical records, unencrypted data. Wait, what? Passport details, address? You know where I live? Yes, now I do. Nice house, by the way, quiet neighbors. Then it was like a bucket of cold water. This stranger no longer seemed like a simple weirdo pouring kvass on his face under other people's photos, more like a professional stalker, but I didn't want to believe it. Is that a threat or what? Nah, you can try to mess with me and all that, but the consequences will be dire for you, trust me. Yeah, and what are you going to do? What are you implying? That I might call the cops, show them our messages, and then file a report? But judging by how brave you are online, but too afraid to approach a girl on the street, I think it'll be enough to call one of my friends. He'll help you learn some manners. Well, if you have such a friend, then it's serious. Is he your boyfriend by any chance? What if we blurt out something extra to him? At that point, I lost it, blocked that bastard again, and then started closing my profiles on all social media so I wouldn't see any more messages from him. It helped a little. The lack of notifications started to calm me down, but it was very difficult to fully recover. I couldn't get the thought out of my head that somewhere out there, in the dark, a psychopath was hiding. who might be standing by the window right now, tracking my every move. It tormented me from the inside, so much so that I couldn't stand it and called my best friend Raphael. He was the only one who could support me in a difficult moment, come to the ends of the earth just to help me. Hello, hello, Raph. Hi. Listen, are you busy right now? Hey. No, not busy. What's up? It's a long story. I got mixed up with some jerk. Now he won't leave me alone. Knows where I live and all that. Damn it. Can you come over and stay the night? I don't want to call the cops. Oh, sure, I can. We live 10 minutes away from each other. Listen, is he big? Maybe I should get some guys involved? Nah, Raph, it's okay. This loser was even afraid to approach me on the street. You'd take him down with one hand. Oh, then no problem. I'll be there in 20 minutes. My friend really did come to my house as promised. I was immensely grateful to him. He saved me from paranoia, helped me calm down, and finally accept the fact that my home is my castle. And as long as I'm inside, I shouldn't be afraid of anyone. We spent the rest of the evening with Raphael in the kitchen, chatting about various topics, drinking tea, laughing, and joking. In the process, I didn't immediately notice that it was late at night, and I needed to slowly get ready for bed so as not to disrupt my friend's routine. I made up the sofa in the living room on the first floor and went to my room on the second. I was used to taking long baths. For me, it's not just hygiene, but also relaxation after a hard day. You fill the tub with hot water, add foam, salt, lie down and chill, just like in a spa. I have 2 bathrooms in the house, so I didn't bother Raph getting ready for bed on the first floor, didn't bother anyone, and silently relaxed. And I wanted to tidy up everywhere before going to bed. Check if everything was okay on the first floor, and also wish my friend good night. But what was my surprise when, going downstairs and looking into the living room, I found no one there. Raph, where are you? No one answered me. It felt like someone was trying to prank me. My buddy loved doing this kind of crap since kindergarten. He would always hide in the locker and then suddenly jump out and scare me to the point of trembling knees. Listen, this isn't funny. Do you want me to have a meltdown? Come out! As soon as I shouted this, a text message from Raphael. Find me. Yeah, I get it. Games at 3 in the morning, God forbid you jump out from around the corner, I swear I'll kill you. No, first I'll die myself, and then I'll come to you as a ghost and strangle you in your sleep. Deal, I'll tell you, hot or cold. Try to find me faster. I have a surprise for you. Oh, I get it. Game 2, 0. P.S. Fine, like I have anything better to do. How do you move? Saying this, I started wandering around the first floor, peering into every corner in search of my idiot. Don't you dare trespass on my territory, buddy. Get out of here. Your couch is on the first floor. I went into my bedroom and tried to turn on the light, but the bulb didn't light up. That's when I became wary. Hot, right? Well, you remember our agreement? Yeah, no sudden movements. I used up my scare quota back in kindergarten. The room had, well, a grown man's vibe. One of them was a large closet that stood right in the center, opposite my bed. That's where I decided to look first, expecting to see anything but this. As soon as the wooden doors opened, Raphael's wounded body immediately fell out onto me, still showing signs of life at that moment. His mouth was taped shut, and in complete bewilderment, his word, "Run!" At that instant, I was seized by real panic. I began to frantically look around, while 100 thoughts raced through my head, and one of them was this. If my friend was wounded, then tied up and locked in a closet, then who was sending texts in his name? The answer was not long in coming. I only had to get to my feet and step back a little when I heard a slight creak of the floorboards from somewhere behind me. The last thing I saw before me when I turned around was a leather mask and the terrifying gaze of black eyes piercing straight into my soul. I woke up in a completely unfamiliar place. Apparently, it was some kind of small dugout or cellar without windows, not even doors. The only source of light was a small, dim light bulb that hung from the ceiling on a thin wire. Thanks to it, I was able to look around a little and understand what was happening. I had been kidnapped and taken to an unknown location. It was that macho man from the dating site. He never intended to go on a date with me in the first place. He only needed to find out where I lived, and then the maniac did what he did. He was dying, losing too much blood from the stab wounds. He just knocked me out with some rag to keep me quiet. Apparently, he had other plans since he didn't kill me right away. Don't get me wrong, I can talk about it calmly now after all this time. But back then, in the basement, sitting in some rusty cage, I was furious, screaming at the top of my lungs to reach someone, and soon I did. Hey, don't make noise, he might be nearby, a young female voice came from the far corner of the room. Who is it? Who's there? I'm Mila. What's your name? Anya. I started peering towards the voice. The light didn't reach that corner, but even in the dark, I could make out the outline of a cage just like mine. Anya, listen carefully. There's not much time. Before you, there was another girl in your cage. She tried to unscrew the loose bolts on the side by hand, struggled for about a week, but didn't manage to finish. A couple of days ago, he took her away in an unknown direction. I haven't seen her since. And you think he killed her? Most likely, yes. But that's not the point right now. Your cage is broken, understand? You can get out of it while he's gone. Try kicking the side out, you can do it. This news cheered me up a bit. I didn't really believe in success, but it was worth a try. I leaned my back against one of the walls and started pushing the other with my feet as hard as I could. There were almost no bolts left there. So soon, I was able to push out this half-broken side. And behind the curtain, at first I thought it was a pantry, but entering and turning on the light, I almost howled in fear. Something terrible was happening in that room. It immediately became clear to me. The air was saturated with blood. The smell of death was everywhere. Although there were no traces of rotting flesh, in the center stood a metal bed with springs, on which lay a dirty mattress stained with something red, and not far from it was a tripod, most likely from a video camera. The device itself was nowhere to be seen, probably the torturer took it with him, and then at home, he edited shocking content for his target audience. Not finding the keys, I soon returned to the room where Mila was and approached her cage. Listen, I can't find them. They must be here somewhere. My thoughts were interrupted by what I saw when my eyes adjusted to the darkness and the silhouette of the tormented girl became much clearer. Mila had no face in the literal sense. It was as if she had been maimed with a hammer and then doused with acid. Her nose was burned through, her eyes bulged from their sockets, as if about to fall out. The only things that remained intact were her jaw and tongue, which initially made me think that I was talking to a perfectly ordinary, healthy girl. Horrible, isn't it? That creature tortured me on camera, tortured me long and painfully. I actually ran away from him once before, but I wasn't smart enough to hide far enough away. I thought the police and the loud outcry would scare him, but no. First, he buried me alive, and then he came back to finish what he started. Mila paused. It was clearly difficult for her to say what she said next, but such was fate. You know what, girlfriend? Get out of here before he comes back. I'll try to buy you some time. I don't care about living with this face anymore. I'd rather hang myself than suffer for the rest of my days, looking at myself in the mirror and remembering all this horror. Run, and don't come back, you hear? Come on, go! I did as I was told, despite my inner protest. My conscience screamed, go back and help the poor girl. But common sense suggested that it was better not to. Time was of the essence, and without keys and special tools, Mila's cage could not be opened. She also tried to unscrew the bolts, but they were screwed on tightly. Apparently, we were initially in a cellar with a wooden hatch visible in the ceiling and a ladder nailed to the wall, which I soon used to climb up and get out. Once outside, I saw a small clearing surrounded by forest. Nearby was a wooden cabin. It didn't take a genius to figure out who owned the house. Diana felt instinctively that this wouldn't last, and he would show up soon. And so it happened. As soon as I covered the hatch with earth and moved towards the forest, I heard the sound of a motor from afar. I managed to hide among the trees and bushes before an old, rapidly approaching pickup truck appeared on the horizon. Soon the car pulled up to the house, and a rather tall, strong man got out. He was wearing a black hoodie, a cap, and a hood over the cap. Sunglasses hid his face, and frankly, it was hard to make him out at that distance. Halfway to the porch, the maniac stopped and glanced towards the cellar. I don't know what prompted him. Maybe I didn't cover it well enough, or maybe this psycho has some kind of intuition for trouble, but after he saw something there, his calm state immediately turned to rage. The kidnapper rushed to the hatch, but I realizing the consequences I might face, dashed into the depths of the forest, hoping to get as far away from this cursed place as possible. I was lucky. I managed to find a busy highway, but wandered around a bit first. A driver saw me, exhausted and scared, run out of the woods and offered help. I called the police almost immediately, but it didn't help. They found the clearing with the cabin and cellar, but it was all ablaze. The psycho just decided to cover his tracks with fire and vanished. The pickup truck was also burned. He must have had backup transportation somewhere in the woods. It turned out to be stolen. As for Mila, she was never found. That psychopath took her from the cellar and led her away in an unknown direction. Then her trail was lost. She is still listed as missing. She was only 27 years old at the time of her disappearance. As far as I know, this monster was put on the wanted list, but there wasn't much information on the wanted notice. That's why they still can't catch him. Since then, I moved to another place. I don't want to make the same mistakes as Mila, and therefore I try not to show up anywhere. I even deleted all social networks, so he definitely won't find me anywhere. You survived this story, but who's watching you right now? Subscribe for more, if you dare.